ونستعين به ونستغفره. نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. اتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله. خير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أوصيكم ونفسي المقصرة بتقوى الله وأن نقدم لأنفسنا أعمالا تبيض وجوهنا يوم نلقى الله يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. My beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, إن الدين عند الله الإسلام. The religion in the sight of Allah is Islam. إن الدنيا زائلة لا قيمة لها مهما كسبت منها أو خسرت. And the dunya is of no worth regardless of how much you have of it or how much little you don't. I came today for nothing, even though many brothers could fill and take care of this khutbah. But I came to share with you not my experience and not what I have been through. And maybe many of you have gone and did go and still going through more. I came to you to give you one message, to deliver to you one message. أوصل إليكم رسالة واحدة. إن محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن مات فإن عمله لم يتوقف. Even though the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam died, but he made sure that we understand we should never stop. And I came to tell you that we cannot stop. As you know, it was very close, but that wasn't the fear. That wasn't the worry. Rather, the worry was that we stop. This deen, this da'wah, maybe I should go even less or lower, and I say this community should not stop by one person. One stops. That should be the motive for everyone to continue. And I felt so pleased, and I felt so happy for what you guys have achieved. When I was laying down in there, in the hospital, and I watched a few seconds of what was going on, I felt that what I've been working on for a few years gave its fruit, because I realized that it wasn't me, and I was nothing but a person, just like I'm standing in front of you today. Allah Azza wa Jal put me just for you to look at what I have learned from you when I thought I was teaching you. And you have changed me when I thought I changed you. We have a mission until we meet Allah Azza wa Jal. والله يا إخوة إن مع لقاء مع الله عز وجل وإن الركب سائر. Life is moving and we will meet Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the most important is how we will meet Him. And perhaps each one of us should take a step back, and obviously as you can see I'm taking many steps back, and think, what is it we're living for? And think, what is it worth? And think how much we're sacrificing in the right direction. We all work, except me. We all have jobs. We all do things. But wallahi, I'm sitting there in this hospital for last couple of weeks. All across my mind is, what's worth it? What is it worth it to live for? And whatever you think it's worth it, you will leave it. Will you find it ahead of you or not? So the conclusion, live for something that is worth it, that you will find it ahead of you. Don't live for something that, with any little accident, with any little incident, that you will pass it. Because it promises you it will not catch up with you. Ibad Allah, life, Allah Azza wa Jal wants something bigger from us. Because Allah Akbar, Allah is bigger than anything. When He created us, He wanted to be in that image. He wanted us to be in that mentality, that we live for things bigger than us. If you've been living for yourself, try to live for yourself and someone else. You're living for your family, try to live for your family and another family. You're living for your community or your masjid. Try to move to another masjid. Not move, but try to involve another masjid. Let's get together. I realized that maybe the good times, maybe the Eid, maybe Ramadans, maybe happy occasions, we're not able, because of our own faults, we're not able to bring us together. But in the last 2 weeks I realized that the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will never die. And I realized that the goodness in this Ummah is there. All of you are good. But sometimes we need the push. We need the reminder. نحتاج إلى الدفعة. نحتاج إلى التذكرة. بعض الأحيان تكون صعبة. بعض الأحيان تكون شديدة. بعض الأحيان تكون مكلفة. Sometimes it's costly. But the death of one person to revive an ummah, it's worth it. And we will not die. We will not die as an ummah. And we will not die as an effort. We have to work together. Each one of us has to take a step forward, has to be determined, has to live for something bigger. Allah, living for a job, you're just like 99% of the world. You can see what happens out there. You can flip and change the whole world around us. Do not underestimate. You should see even the impression that all of you who have come to visit in the hospital and those who didn't. And I'm 100% sure each one of you had his own excuses. But I can tell you, just that movement, that motion in that hospital, I have no doubt that put some people, non-Muslims, on the track to wonder about us. That's without talking. We did not sit there to preach. We did not sit there to give lectures. We did not sit there to teach Quran. We just behaved. People were coming to me, nurses, assistants, doctors, asking who I was. He said I was a Muslim. I said, why? How come you know all these people? He said, we're Muslims. The bond between us is not on the ID. The bond is blood. It's not the blood. The bond is Islam. That's what brought you all. That's what brought us together. That's how we need to stick together. That's what makes us strong. That's what keep us going. They say you're rich. Some of them came to me. They said, you're so rich. I said, I'm half paralyzed in the bed. You don't even know who I am. They said, he who has people like that around him is rich. We are rich together. والله يا نحن أغنياء ببعضنا وإنما الرجل بإخوانه كما قال عمر رضي الله عنه يقول لولا إخوة يذكرون بالله ما أردنا الحياة. It wasn't brothers who remind us of Allah Azza wa Jal. We don't want to live. They tell me there are people next door. They'll sit a month and two. No one will come check on them. No one will come to check on them. Not a friend, not a relative. I can tell you that I don't think 5 minutes passed in that hospital where I was for about 10 days, I think. 5 minutes passed without someone with me, whether from you or from my family. So I imagined how they would feel. All these people sitting there, or these patients sitting there between four walls for days and days, not even seeing anyone. Just imagine. Allah, when they used to tell me these stories, the nurses, I used to feel depressed. Why have many people around me? What brought them? What brought you to me? Is it because we are in the house of Allah? If I chose the other way, or any one of us chose the other way, they criticize us for the deen, right? They say, from amongst us, forget about the non-Muslims. And honestly, I realized that we are not doing enough even toward the non-Muslims. But let's talk about ourselves. نتكلم عن أنفسنا. أي واحد فينا أو كثير ممن بيننا من أهل الإسلام ينتقدوننا، يقولون أهل مساجد، يقولون أهل دين، يقولون يقولون أهل التزام وأنتم تحبوا المساجد والصلاة، شوية شوي. أقول لأهل البارات وأقول لأهل الملاهي والملاعب: لو أصابكم ما أصابني من يأتيكم؟ من يأتيكم؟ To those who criticize the people who want Allah, يا إخوة, forget, انسى الجنة والنار للحظة، انسى القبر والعذاب، انسى الحساب والصراط. Forget about everything. Forget about الجنة والنار والصراط والحساب والقبر والعذاب والسؤال والكتاب. And think about the dunya. I ask the people of the dunya, I ask those who criticize us from amongst us, that because we want Allah and we want to be on the Quran and the Sunnah, what gives you? What gave me in those 10 days? What kind of social circle will give you the mental support? Wallahi ya akhwan, the surgery I had, I was supposed to be on pain medicine every 4 hours and very strong, and 16 and 18 hours will pass, they will come, the nurses come, and those who were admitted into hospital sometimes, they know. Every little pain they call the nurses, medicine. Even the guy next room to me, all day, all night, nurse, nurse, want his medicine. Wallahi ya akhwa, 16 and 18 hours would pass to the point where they will come to me, the nurses, you don't want medicine? You don't want medicine? We don't want medicine. When I see your faces, I don't want medicine. When I see we're together, what medicine you want? They underestimated the ruh. They underestimate the medicine of the nafs, the medicine of ruh. They underestimated the healer, Allah Azza wa Jal. That's what we do for each other. That's what this community needs to do. We should not anymore be masjid this, masjid that masjid, this group, that group. What brought us together is one thing: what Allah wants, what Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wants. That's the only option we have. So I ask Allah Azza wa Jal that we benefit from this. And I truly believe, what happened to me is a wake-up call for me before anyone. Because I know I wasn't doing enough for you. And before you, I wasn't doing enough for myself, for my family. And Allah Azza wa Jal was so merciful. Even the surgeons, the doctors, the neurologists, they said this accident, you never get out of it walking. So I understood even more that Allah Azza wa Jal has put on my shoulder now with you to do something different. It's no more having a nice masjid to pray in, or having a small school to bring our kids to. Now the mission is bigger. The mission is bigger. Our mission now is what each one of us can give to the best of his ability. As you've seen, money comes and goes. You guys showed that money means nothing to you. There are many Muslims need more money somewhere else. But this experience showed that the creator of the money takes care of those who need the money. But when the hearts are together, nothing can stop it. That will be our mission. Our mission is to create a model, a legend, or a legacy that will be spread throughout, not South Florida, or North Miami Beach, or South Florida, or Florida, but everywhere. I always used to hear that I prayed from some brothers who traveled around. Oh, I prayed in such and such city, and Fajr had 1,500 people. And I always wondered, wow. But then I realized numbers have nothing to do with anything. With this last experience, even though one of my thoughts always how we bring more people. The people numbers are strong, they make a difference. But I realized one heart can worth 1,000,000 people. That's what you all have proved with your hearts. That one heart can change 1,000,000 people. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make us benefit from this experience. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make us move forward in the right direction. We will get together, bi-idhnillah. We will make a difference. Maybe there are many problems in the Muslim world. Might be every time you read the news, you turn on the TV, you get frustrated. Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Egypt, Libya, everywhere. But you know what? The mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal dictates, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. That Allah will not burden you with more than you could. We have here we can work on. This is what we need to work on. Every one of you is responsible. What happened to me, I ask Allah Azza wa Jal never happened to any one of you. But I can guarantee that it wouldn't. So I want you to have a new mindset. أريد عقلية جديدة. لي قبلكم. What we can do, and how we can improve, and how we can go beyond just eating and drinking and praying. And praying. Praying is good. But you know what? I've been teaching for 10 years in the Masjid. I think I almost have 3,000 lectures. But والله الذي لا إله إلا هو إني تعلمت منكم في أسبوع آلاف المرات الذي ظننت أني علمتكم إياه. 3,000 lectures, but I truly believe I learned from you in the last week thousands of times more than what I have taught you. And I'm so pleased with that. And I'm so happy. And I know it's going to take another 100,000 lectures for me to learn even more from you. But I'll push myself a little bit. But let's get together. Let's put our hands together. Let's put our hearts together. Let's put our heads together. And let's make a difference. And let Allah Azza wa Jal lead us. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. يا جماعة المستغفرين استغفر الله. نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره. نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. I know I can call each one of yours names. Wallahi, I won't hesitate. But I know many of your names and I don't know many. هذا تقصير مني. This is because of my own fault. لكن بشرى, the good news that Allah knows you. That Allah knows you. But as Allah عز وجل يقول وقضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا. If I'm gonna thank someone after Allah عز وجل, I can't thank enough والدي ووالدتي. لداني شعراني كأني طفل. You made me feel like a baby again. It's a good feeling, but it's not easy. But insan, he reaches an age where he's the one expected to be taking care of his parents, and suddenly your mother is the one wiping on your socks so you can finish your wudu, and your father is the one who's picking you up so you can get to bed. They deserve all honor. يستحق كل تعظيم. فأوصيكم بوالديكم وبرهما أو برهما أحياء كانوا أمواتا. I remind you of your parents. I remind you of your siblings, whether they're alive or they're dead. Wallahi ya akhu. Wallahi ya akhu. Nothing. لا شيء. لا شيء يستحق أن تخاصم أبا أو أما أو أخا أو أختا أو ابنا أو بنتا أو صديقا أو أخا لك في الإسلام. والله ما يستحق. والله لو ملايين الدولارات، والله لو قطع جزءا من أو بضعة من جسمك، والله لا تستحق أن تخاصمه لحظة. واترك أمره إلى الله عز وجل. سامح واعف عنه، تجاوز عن خطأه، وباقي الأمور تنصلح ما دام الأشياء شخصية. تجاوز عنها وكن أكبر من غيرك. Tell you nothing is worth to create animosity or to create a second of heat between a person and his father, or between him and his mother, or between him and his wife, or his siblings, or her brothers and sisters in Islam. Nothing worth it. Even if he chopped a piece of your body, wallahi it's nothing. Wallahi you forget everything when you go through some hard time and you need that person next to you. Wallahi. فلنضع العداوات, and let's put aside our animosities and our grudges. We have differences. We have disagreements. This is the way of life. But it's sad that we have Deen al-Islam and we make things of no worth so big. Put it aside. اعفوا والعفو أفضل والمسامحة أفضل Abdullah, someone that you have problem with for years, step on your ego. Pick up the phone after this. Go visit him. Tell him ألا يصلح أن نكون إخوة في الله ولو اختلف. وامشي. ما دام المصلحة مصلحة شخصية, as long as it's personal, let it go. Not to say to compromise or sacrifice the rights of Allah. And if they're willing to submit and admit, no problem too. But I say, put all these things aside and start a new page. And start a clean page in your life. Go back to your spouse. Go back to your children. Go back to your friends. Go back to your siblings. Build relationships. Strengthen them. قوي علاقتك معهم. ما في شيء. Nothing can be more beneficial to your heart after Allah Azza wa Jal than to see your beloved ones around you. To see your beloved ones around you. I was in the hospital fighting sleep, drugged and fighting sleeping, just because I wanted to see your faces. And someone who said visitations were not allowed, well, I have to deal with him later on. But I know he did it because he also wanted my comfort. But to have brothers like you, who has community like you, you guys are the source of best comfort after the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. You are the source of comfort because of Allah Azza wa Jal. So let's work together. Let's make a difference. Let's show that we can do something different, that this accident will not just go in vain, and that Allah Azza wa Jal wanted something better for us. That's what we will do. That's why I came today, to show you that there is no time for a break. They told me 3 months. I said 3 days is okay. We will not stop. We will continue by the order of Allah Azza wa Jal to make a difference for us, for our children, for our families, for humanity, until we meet Allah Azza wa Jal and we meet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ala al-hawd. اللهم اجمعنا مع نبيك على الحوض. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أذل الشرك والمشركين. اللهم ردنا إلى ديننا ردا جميلا. اللهم اجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير. اللهم اجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه. اللهم أرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم جنب المسلمين مصارع السوء. اللهم جنبنا الحوادث والخواطر والابتلاءات. اللهم علمنا ما لم نفقه. اللهم علمنا ما جهلنا. اللهم أرنا الحكمة من أفعالك. اللهم أرنا الحكمة من أفعالك. اللهم ثبتنا حتى اللقاء يا رب العالمين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك، أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت، استغفرك وأتوب إليك. بارك الله فيكم ونفعني الله وإياكم. أقم الصلاة.